Welcome to the Firewater Review, a weekly podcast dedicated to whiskey reviews. On this week's episode, we will be reviewing nothing. I am your host, Seth Brown. I am not joined by my usual co-host, Aaron Cave. Aaron is away today. He is on his way to MB Roland in beautiful Pembroke, Kentucky, which is in my original neck of the woods in western Kentucky. He is traveling there with a couple other good folks, and they are going to be picking a barrel of MB Roland bourbon today. And can't wait to hear about that. But I did want to post this episode and just let everyone know what we will be reviewing on a couple of future episodes. On next week's episode, we will have Chris Williams. He'll be a returning guest, actually. Chris is the guy that heads up Round Table Woodworks, and we'll be reviewing Old Weller 107, Old Weller Antique 107. And then the following week, we will dive into Buffalo Trace Mash Bill number 2 and review some ancient age. So if you want to tune in and drink along with us and see if you can pick up any of the notes that Aaron and I do, that would be fantastic. But while I have you here, I was going to talk about a few things that I had on my mind. I'm going to pop open this cork here first. Today, while I'm chatting with you, I'm going to be drinking a little Boone County 1833, and this is a private store pick from a store local to me. So cheers to everyone listening. Be sure to check out Boone County, too. If you have them in your area, pick up a bottle, try it out. They have a few different offerings, but the main bourbon offering is Boone County 1833. And it's actually a 10-year-old whiskey. I had the opportunity to speak with Josh Quinn, who's one of the founders at Boone County, on an episode of The Bourbon Show. And it turns out the barrels that he picked that would then become 1833 were from MGP. But at the time that these were distilled, it would have been Seagrams, and just really fantastic barrels that he chose there. And if you have them in the area, like I said, be sure to pick up a bottle. They'll usually run you about $50 to $60. But do keep in mind that you're picking up a 10-year-old whiskey, and those are becoming hard to find. Really good stuff, so be sure to check them out. You can find them at BooneCountyDistilling.com or MadeByGhosts.com. And for more information, you can be sure to listen to that episode of The Bourbon Show. Again, that was Josh Quinn of Boone County Distilling. Like I said, while I have you here, I wanted to discuss a couple of things that have been rubbing me the wrong way lately. Social media, basically, it can be frustrating at times, but what I see a lot of, especially on Facebook, not so much on Instagram, but a lot of the Facebook groups, you get people that really talk down and talk bad about newbies. I mean, people looking to really get information about a whiskey. And a lot of what I see, I mean, just recently in the Atlanta Bourbon Society's Facebook page, someone had posted something about a couple of the Jefferson's recent releases, the Sherry Cask, and there was one other, can't think of what it is right offhand, but anyway, they had picked up a couple of these bottles, and someone said it's basically the same Jefferson's crap, just with a new bottle, and basically telling them that they wasted their money by spending what they did on it. However, if that person happens to like drinking those things, then they did not make the wrong decision. It frustrates me because there's a lot of new people getting into bourbon. I mean, we all know this. You see it everywhere. And when people first get into something, they're looking to gain knowledge. They ask questions. And when people talk smack about it or look down or frown upon whatever it is that they're drinking, it really bothers me because I've always had the impression of if someone is just getting into something, you have the opportunity to be a mentor, a teacher, and potentially an authority in that particular category. So, in my opinion, you should take the opportunity to be that person. Teach them. Answer any questions that they might have. guide them in the direction, help them figure it out what it is that they like and don't like. There's no right or wrong answer, really, because as most of you probably know, Aaron and I like higher proof, typically higher rye bourbon and whiskey in general. Now, if you don't like that, I'm not going to disagree with you. You're welcome to your opinion, just as we're welcome to have ours. But just because someone likes Jim Beam White Label, that doesn't make it wrong. That's what they enjoy. Or maybe that's what they can afford. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. People like barbecue. Some people don't. Some people are vegetarians. Some people aren't. Some people like spicy food. Some people like sweet food. Some people like wheated bourbons. Some people like high rye bourbons. Some people like scotch. Some people like rum or tequila. There is nothing wrong with any of that. It is your preferred taste. So when drinking, drink it how you like it and what you like, when you like it. And don't let anyone tell you any different. So that's one thing that's been on my mind. So if you see someone asking a question, reach out to them, help them, be a teacher, be a mentor, and maybe you'll learn something out of it too. And then one more thing that's kind of been bugging me lately is just this whole industry as a whole and collaborating together. If you think about things like Hassie Berg, he has a website that is called The Son of Winston Churchill. You probably heard Aaron and I talk about that on this show and others. But the people that contribute to Son of Winston Churchill, Whiskey Pete, Hassie, myself, Aaron, and now Monty Wizenut, who is a former guest of this show, and a few others that are also contributing to that blog. We all come from different backgrounds. Aaron and I do a show here on the ABV network, but we collaborate with people. We help. And I think when we come together within this industry and collaborate together outside of our own little box, I think that makes us better. It helps inform people about this beautiful spirit that we love, bourbon. And when we don't collaborate and we shut people out, that doesn't help anyone. And if you really think about it, if you look at the bourbon industry itself, the distillers themselves, they collaborate on things. And if you think about it, when Heaven Hill had their fire back in 1996, if the other distillers had not come to their rescue, they quite possibly could have gone out of business. So collaboration helps all of us. And if the distillers themselves are doing it, they don't look at each other as competition. In fact, most of them almost feel like they're family. Some of them actually are family. But they do come together as a family. They collaborate together. And quite frankly, I think because of that collaboration, that has helped put this bourbon craze, the bourbon industry, to where it is that we see it today. Just think if they hadn't collaborated, we might not have all of these wonderful expressions that we have available to us today. All of these great sourced whiskeys. Trey Zoller at Jefferson's, working together, collaborating with other distillers. The distilleries sharing information with each other. It just makes everyone stronger, makes everyone better. So just because someone has different opinions than you or different tastes than you doesn't mean you can't work with them. I mean, you look at us having John and Zeke on from Dad's Drinking Bourbon. They're not affiliated with the ABV network, but we like what they do. And I think John and Zeke enjoy what we do. So when we collaborate together, I think that makes us stronger, makes us better, provides more knowledge. And to be completely honest, the episodes where we've had guests on, Jeremy Schell on a recent episode where we reviewed Blanton's, Monty that I mentioned, Chris Williams, and Dad's Drinking Bourbon. those are always our top downloaded episodes. So it just makes us stronger when we collaborate outside of our own box. So don't hesitate. Reach out to other people. Work with them. Talk with them. Teach them. Learn from them. And together, I think that makes this industry better. So with all of that said, I'll raise a glass to you guys and cheers. But tune in to next week's episode. As I mentioned, we'll have Chris Williams from Roundtable Woodworks. Again, not technically part of the ABV network, but a good friend of the show. And Chris does great work. He's in the bourbon industry. He makes products from used bourbon barrels. Really cool products, too. You should check him out. So tune in next week when we have Chris on. And as I mentioned, we'll be reviewing Old Weller Antique 107. And the following week after that, we'll be reviewing Ancient Age. In the meantime, you can tune in to all of our episodes of the Firewater Review. You can find those on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. We appreciate your reviews, your feedback. Makes the show better. You can find me on Instagram, mainly. Not really on Twitter. I am at Seth P. Brown on Instagram. Give me a follow. Give me a shout out. Let me know what you think of the show. Be good to hear from you. So, until next week, we will wish Aaron the best of luck in choosing a fantastic barrel at MB Roland. And if you haven't heard of them, do check them out. I believe it's mbroland.com, or you could probably just do a Google search. I'm sure they'll come up. But they're apparently doing some fantastic work, so be sure to check them out as well. And I think that's it. So until next week, please drink and enjoy your bourbon responsibly. Cheers.
The Firewater Review is part of the ABV network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers.